is going to be NA Ult Management versus Valkyries, Tier 2, and we are in Week 13. This is a new rotation. I guess it's kind of not new since everyone's gotten used to it, right? I'm going to be casting. My name is Timepiece, and I'm here with my partner, Uravity. You want to introduce yourself?
Howdy. I'm glad to be here tonight.
Perfect.
I do believe this is the final regular season week for Tier 2, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. We also have a stream coming in a little later tonight. I think 7:30 is going to be Pepegas versus Rogue Knights.
It's going to be a good match.
Yep. I haven't really seen a ton of or I haven't streamed at least a ton of Tier 2 games, but I have heard that NA Ult is really close, I think almost tied to first or second.
They're extremely close. I think they're currently placed third. They're in like a tie with for second place right now, just off of map diff.
Yeah.
I'd have to bring up the standings right now to get a true. I will do that just so that everybody kind of knows what's at stake here. And alright, so the standings have NA Ult Management tied for second place right now with Rogue Knights. They are currently, the tiebreaker is a 3-map differential in favor of Rogue Knights, so a 4-0 tonight would be huge for them to try and boost them over Rogue Knights in terms of map differential.
Yeah.
Now
I'm gonna go ahead and
having
start.
that second place position, if I've read over and understood everything correctly, will be huge for them because that means they get to pick their opponent one team sooner.
Initiating match.
Okay. Go ahead and test that pause button. And the pause button has been changed. I cry. Why?
Hurry up and look for it.
Moderator pause is now up on the D-pad. I will be changing that back to OK.
Ready for battle.
Woo! Alright. Let's get it started. On the side
I'll give it a
of...
test just to make sure it actually swapped.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good. On the side of Valks, we're gonna have K2 on that Rhine that we so very much love. Beagle is gonna be on that Hag, which we've also seen pop off. We have Weiss Queen on that Junk that we've seen pop. Young Habibi is gonna be on that Genji. We have Danny on the Mercy, Rai on that Brig, and then on the side of NA Ult Management we have Prof on the Ryan, we have a Sigma on Gyro, and then we have Legit on May. Mr. Link is gonna be on that McCree, and then we have Lucio Bap from Buttweiser and Big O.
So it looks like NA Ult here are going to try and control this slightly elevated high ground here in the stairwell. They're going to have to come down low because Valkyries wants to force them in. Good hook by Beagle, almost able to immediately delete the Lucio. However, found out a position, gets frozen up by Legits, but Prophetic tries to get the charge kill, doesn't find it. Weiss Queen able to get a pick on the Master, but here Beagle's on the right side of this point now, trying to get a flank here. Able to find the pick on the Legits, and Weiss Queen just going to do a bunch of damage with this Junkrat. Finish off Prophetic and force NA Ult back to spawn with a reset. And now we're going to see Valkyries here push up and try to take control of this little room here, not even let them back in the building.
This is gonna be hard to face NA Ult facing Valks because I've heard nothing but great things from Beagle, and now with Weiss and K2 here, it's gonna be really difficult. Already getting
Dragon
Blade
already from Young. Gonna
And
try and get
Valk.
a kill, but the great immortality field doing a great job keeping this entire team alive from the supports. Very good job from both Big and Botlight here. Tire coming in from Weiss Queen from behind. Not gonna find anything. The rock from Gyro able to shut it down.
Massive.
Window being invested here, but Young gonna try to deflect most of the damage coming through on it. This has allowed the NAL management to get in here and come onto this point. K2's kind of out of position here, just alone on the point. If NAL management wants to, they could run him over right now, but they're not going to be able to because of Young in their backline. Finds a pick on the Mr. Lee. Beat comes through for NAL and the Shatter too, but only finds Rybloods. Both Shatters only finding one here. It's gonna really be executed on Beagle, able to get a huge hook kill onto Legits. That would have been their natural counter, and now they're just allowed to go nuts with this ultimate. And Young gets another Dragon Blade that fight to close it out.
Oh my god, great. I don't know if you saw that, but Young Habibi shut down Mr. Link's High Noon there, and then, yep, that's a great swap. They're gonna swap on over to Reaper, Orisa, and Ashe. I think Reaper they've had for a minute now. And Mercy.
They're swapping to this traditional double shield, which I like a lot better against the composition that Valkyries are running. It's very potent. They're not going to be able to withstand this composition, so as long as they can stay away, they've got to keep an eye out for Beagle. Beagle will try to get in their backline and come one of these squishies. But Gyro able to find a pick on the Young. K2 is not going to be able to shield all this damage. He's the only shield in this composition. And now Beagle looking for the supports just like I said he would do. However, Danny able to find a res. Weiss Queen with a huge tire, couldn't find anything. He does just find the support line! And now all that's left on point is Gyro, who made a huge play at the start of this fight, but unfortunately Valkyries were able to play around it just well enough. And honestly, it kind of looked like they led NAL into a trap and then just collapsed on top of them.
Really great gameplay there from Valks. I didn't expect, you know, Young to be so, like, up in their backline, and especially with Beagle too. That was a great duo there from them to, like, poking at their backline, picking off their supports. Young is doing a great job tonight on Genji, showing us exactly why Genji needs to be feared. Oh, I like the swap around that we're gonna see on the side of NAL. You see Far Mercy coming in, you have, oh, okay, as I say that, we're gonna see a Lucio instead of the Mercy, but still that nasty Pharah that I so love. And then you're gonna see that Torb.
Oh, there we go.
They juked me.
No Far Mercy here. Oh, no, there it is. I was
There
gonna
we
say, there was
go.
actually nothing in that composition to help that Pharah. I'm very glad to see Big swap from last time. There's nothing to contest Legits here. That's gonna immediately finds a pick on the Weiss Queen. That's a lot of damage now lost on the side of Valkyries. However, this double shield competition is gonna falter a little bit in here, but with that huge pick on the Weiss Queen, they've got enough damage to go ahead and shut this brawl comp down.
Yep.
And nobody can reach Legits. Just kind of chilling up here.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if we don't see a swap over to a hit scan right now.
You have to. Young won't swap because of how close they are to Dragon Blade already.
Right, and I think
But
I'm not sure if Weiss plays any
Weiss
hit
Queen
scan.
probably needs to make a swap to like Ashe or McCree here.
Agreed.
You didn't get to build Tyre up at all.
Maybe they're
you're
just
staying on Junkrat solely because I think they want to play the ignore the Pharah strat and just completely run over
But especially on this small room, can you afford that?
Legit's gonna find another pick on the K2. You have, if you're gonna play that strategy, you have to be so much faster about it.
Pharah.
Basically, if they're gonna play it like this, they need to go on ahead and swap to their own double shield composition so they have more sustain before they get just completely like dumpstered by this Pharah.
Yeah.
Because right now, Weiss Queen is their only source of major shield break against
It
this
doesn't
team.
look like they're gonna swap, and I think that's a big mistake. I think what they're counting on is
shut down here. They're just gonna keep finding these picks. That's a good pick there on the Mr. Link here from Weiss Queen, but the barrage is gonna come through. You're gonna find the pick on the K2, and that's almost a lost team fight once you lose the main tank that early in the fight. Beagle gets knocked out of breathe. They're not gonna be able to heal themselves up, but a good res comes through on the K2. K2 is close to a shatter if they can keep him up long enough. But K2's taking so much damage, able to use a shield, getting a healing now from Danny.
gonna try to blade the Far Mercy.
There's not a whole lot left on the point. They're just trying to get this Valkyrie Mercy off of it now. They do finally break this open. But I don't know how long they're gonna be able to hold it because they need to go. They need to go up and get aggro and make sure that this team doesn't get set up where they want to be. With this, they have a lot of ults. They're coming up on Valk again already. They did use that last fight, right? Did Big just build 80% of their Valk over the course of one fight?
I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention to the support line
Okay,
here.
so White's Queen, basically, like this tire needs to be huge, and White's is hiding. Here it comes, and he gets hooked up by Mr. Link. Bob gets sent in now. That's gonna force Valkyries to turn around.
Only
And
gonna get one with the shatter.
Too. All that's active right now on the side of Valkyries is this rally. Young gets taken down by Mr. Link, who has just been popping off this team fight. Prophetic gonna chase this rally and Grig outside, but doesn't actually go through with it. Good choice. Barrage comes through on point.
And we're finally gonna see that swap to a hit scan. We're gonna see Soldier from Young.
The swap needed to happen so much longer ago, but hopefully it's not too late for them. They could still try to turn this around with an early pick. There are no ultimates on the side of NA ult right now, and they will probably build up the window, but that's not huge right now, given the situation they're in. Here comes the Valk, but Gyro already finds a pick on the K2, who just charged in, hoping for a touch or a crazy pick. Now the tank line is gone for Valkyries. K2 actually does get rezzed up by this Valk, but it's unfortunate because they've lost 2 more members. They're just trying to funnel in on this point one at a time here, and it's not working out for them. Mr. Link with 2 picks of their own again. Danny Yuki doing a really good job with this mercy jump to try and just distract the team and not get caught. However, Mr. Link again gonna find the pick here, and that's gonna wrap up point 2 of Lijiang Tower.
That swap needed to happen a lot earlier, but with Mr. on Ashe, you're gonna have a hard time trying to find an area where you can, you know, long range focus down that Pharah.
You've got to be prepared for it this time. This is such a good Pharah map. Young needs to stay on the Soldier.
Yeah, Weiss is going to swap on over to that Symmetra, and I think that can be a very beneficial swap, especially on this map. It's going to force that Pharah to either, you know, play outside and get those picks, but if you play inside and try to avoid that Pharah, she's going to be forced to come on down and get annihilated by those turrets.
Right. They're just going to TP through window, I bet, with this strategy, and just try to force Pharah on the point as soon as possible.
And you're going to see them start to go left, but NA ult is already...
Legits trying to get a pincer here, but Young getting a mercy pocket of their own, going to go ahead and try and get this early pick on the Legits, knocks them down to 1/3 health left, and chases out big. Legit's not able to come in and contest, but this is also splitting up Valkyries quite a bit. Mr. Link, though, finds to pick up a White Queen. That's a lot of damage there gone. However, it gets rezzed up because no pressure applied, and Legits does find to pick up a Danny, though, for rezzing. Beagle finding Legits, though. This is trades back and forth. Legits is just hovering on this balcony here, and Beagle found them pretty easily. NA ult trying to slow push this, but I don't think it's going to work right now. With the Symmetra being back up and this double shield, they're just going to be doing this Symmetra so much ammo and charge. It's going to be really hard for them to push into this. Window comes through on the side of Valkyries, or sorry, NA ult management.
That window is huge there. It's going to force them to start backing up.
The double shield composition with the heroes they're running, the Ashe and the Pharah, benefit from having that window so much, but this fight's not over apparently. Beagle making some hero plays with the help of this Moira. Unfortunately, the Danny does fall, but Beagle's not done yet. They do get the flip, but now Valkyries are back and a huge shatter comes through, finding 3! The support line, they're gonna... Okay, the field comes through just in time to save Baptiste, but he jumps out of the immortality field and dies to the turrets. Valkyries are going to take this point back just as quickly as they lost it. Legits gets pulled out of the air by Beagle, and that's immediately going to be a flip back in favor of Valkyries.
I think that was a good swap on the side of Danny, but it just wasn't enough. That swap to Moira to kind of help out with the Pharah, you know.
But they flipped the point back, so you can't be upset about it.
They did flip it back. I think it did help them a lot.
Danny must have just... Oh, that's huge! We're just finding Beagle, who's been finding crazy picks. However, oh no, Young gets taken down before they get to take out Legits. I don't even think NA ult management's gonna have to use any more ults here. Meanwhile, Valkyries are still investing. They need to take care of White Queen. They do, who's just trying to hide in between the shields. K2 is just firing into the back of Prophetic and not able to find a kill. It's just Reinhardt. Not really gonna be able to do much into a golden Orisa. And the point gets flipped here. NA ult management not going down without a fight here. They're setting up. It looks like White Queen wants to set up another TP to the window here, but everybody's seen them. They're going to be ready for it.
Yep.
K2 falls immediately. Half health. Really good mid flux here. Takes out the main tank, but Legits was another big player for damage here. and they've lost it. However, Big is still on Mercy, unlike Danny, and is gonna find this res. Valkyries are they're holding this like white room door, and it's kind of working for them. They have this entire half the point fortified.
Nobody's taking care of that
Mr. Loco with a pick onto
teleporter.
the support and finds K2. This could swing back to NAO. It was just starting to look like it was favoring Valkyries, and it's still not over. Valkyries still have 3 members, and it's pretty important members of their team alive. A good hook from Beagle, gonna pull Prophetic outside of the point, and Young gonna execute. However, this Doomfist from Legits, they're off of Pharah. They swapped to Doom.
Oh no.
Packbuys are used in the back, but Mr. Link able to shut it down. Another window, or teleporter into window here. Weiss Queen setting up the turrets, but Valkyries, or sorry, NA Ultimate has a pretty good handle on the point right now. This just seems like a really long stagger coming in from Valkyries now. They used the Coalescence, but it's not going to find any kills. It may have kept their team alive a bit longer, but I think they're burning time off the clock here. They need to get a decisive pick here. They need to find something. K2 alone, for the most part, on the point. Danny's going to fall. Mr. Link swaps the Tracer to get back and really just shut this team fight down.
Mr. Link is just popping off.
They have to TP on the point here. Oh, but the TP gets removed! They're not going to be able to make it in time!
You gotta start running. Oh no.
You can't! And that'll be NA ult management reversing Li Zhang Tower to take map 1.
Go.
That was a really good supercharger at the end because it gave Mr. Link's Tracer enough like firepower to just one-click the teleporter.
Yeah, so I think what went wrong there for Valks was just the inflexibility. I think Weiss doesn't really play any hit scan, or you know, maybe it was a call out that they needed.
Weiss definitely plays hit scan. I've commentated
Really?
for some of their games before, and they have a killer Ashe on their hands. That's why I mentioned that.
Oh, well then, yeah, yikes. I would have swapped Ashe there for sure. I don't know why Weiss stayed on to that junk there, forcing Young to swap after using Blade. That's a huge chunk of time that NA lost there. I think it needed to be an instant swap to Ashe there from Weiss. I think Young was doing work on that Genji. Yeah, yikes. That was just comp v comp, or roster, you know, like the composition there.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't fit too well there. And especially with NA ult's Mr. Link there, popping off
Right.
consistently. It really wasn't even, you know, legit on Pharah, like wasn't the main issue there anymore. It was just your DPS were winning that fight on the side of NA ult.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll move on to map 2.
Mm-hmm.
And that is gonna be Blizzard World. Okay.
Which is really, if we're seeing a lot of the same here, is going to favor NA ult management's composition heavily.
Yep. And on the tank line for Valk, we're gonna see Young Habibi swap on over to the tank line to sub in for K2.
Ooh.
We're gonna have our DPS line swap completely. We're gonna have Lil Masala in, and we're gonna have Mimo in. XX, which is the alt account for. Let's double check real quick. We do have a couple alt accounts approved by ARCs. It's going to be Peepers as XV Memo, and Pookie is going to be YT Snipsy.
You love to see the role swaps. I love seeing the flexibility among certain players. It's just fun. It's fun to see somebody like play Genji at the level that Young was, and then come in and play like a really good Orisa. Because you're not expecting it, because it's such a different like skill set required to play each hero. So I'm excited to see that.
Do you see a Sakura? I don't see.
They were here earlier. They are not here right now.
Okay. Alright, well,
They
we'll
were
wait
among
for
them.
them. Sakura is gonna come in for Rai. Maybe a internet issue. Oh, there we go. Thank ya. Okay, we'll swap that in. And then on the side of NA, we're gonna have Prof and Gyro stay on that tank line. We're gonna have Mr. Link and Legit is gonna step on out. And we're gonna have Sky Blue come in for Mr. Link. Or I'm sorry, for Legit. Mr. Link and Sky are gonna be the DPS duo, and then Big O and Bud are gonna stay on the support lane. Not too many swaps there for NA ult. Alright. Well, let's get readies from both teams. But so far, I'm loving this like matchup that we have tonight. I mean, very very strong teams that we see going head to head. I mean, I'm excited. I liked Young on the DPS line, and I loved Beagle on the tank line. So I'm excited to see how these two synergize on the tank line. I haven't seen that before.
I'm curious to see. I'm gonna stalk Beagle a little bit here, see if we can expect more than a Roadhog. So I feel like you're pulling K2 out. It doesn't look like we're gonna get much more than the Roadhog here. So
Beagle is a
my thought
nasty
process here,
Roadhog, though.
they're doing great on Roadhog, but like I think what they're doing is they're changing their tank line now around Beagle. So I think they want K2 in for when they want Reinhardt. I'm assuming Young is going to play either Sigma or Orisa with Beagle's Roadhog.
Yeah.
Which I would be a fan of. I think Orisa is the superior option to Reinhardt on almost every map right now, with the way Overwatch is played, especially on Blizzard World.
Yeah. I definitely would probably lean towards an Orisa here, just because I personally like Orisa here. But Sigma can do a lot of work, especially with a deployable shield, like with the 1 second cooldown.
Though, it would appear that we shouldn't be expecting an Orisa at all.
Oh?
Unless one of these players has been practicing in secret on a different account.
Hey, maybe. You don't know.
Young only has 2 hours on Orisa.
Okay,
So it looks like they're just swapping
maybe
out their Reinhardt playstyle, so it looks like we'll just see a different type of Reinhardt coming out of Young than we would expect.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely know that
playstyle changes are sometimes all you really need to change out.
Right, yeah. I do know that Valk's support line with Sakura and Senpai Danny, definitely very strong. I know that for a fact. Like, experienced
that
it.
support line is stacked.
Like, that synergy there is unstoppable. But I want to go over to NA ult. Mr. Link tonight is popping. So if you could focus down Valk's support line here, and it looks like NA ult is doing a great job of focusing down the main tank first, which is also very plausible, right? But I do think that this support line is going to consistently keep them up. And I could be wrong here, but my prediction is that the support line is just going to keep them up consistently to the point where NA ult is going to have a hard time if they don't start focusing down that support line.
I do believe that Valkyries is going to run into the same issue with NA Ultimate because, or NA Ult management because, I've casted a couple of these NA Ult games and like Buttweiser Big are like a fat duo. They are so
Really?
powerful together.
Ooh.
Buttweiser alone on Baptiste when they play that is just, it's mesmerizing to watch just how well he balances out the healing and uses immortality fields. I've gushed over Buttweiser and MVP conversation, so I won't go over it too much, but just like their support line has always been really strong in these games. So
Yeah.
I would expect this to be like a matter of like which team can pick off the supports the quickest, even if that's not their goal. I think that once these teams lose a support, that is when you'll start to see things kind of fall apart, because the enemy team just has such a good support line that it's going to be really noticeable when you're down one.
Ready for battle.
Okay. Yeah, will you do me a favor and just keep an eye out if Buds joins back in so I can swap them over to their correct team, just in case it
Yes, ma'am.
swaps them to neutral. But yeah, so it looks like we're gonna have an interesting showdown here. I love Ashe on this map because, you know, if you have, and Widow as well. I haven't seen too many really good Widows. So if Peepers here or Mimo should pop out a really nice Widow, they have double hit scan here with that Hanzo and Widow. A damage boost on that could be nasty, but you definitely have a nice high ground location on the side of NA ult, which is gonna probably make it a little more difficult.
I was gonna say, I feel like Valkyrie's composition kind of conflicts with itself in the sense of two members of their team don't want to play fast, and Sky already gonna find a pick on the Masala. They don't want to play fast, they want to take it slow, they want to find picks, they want to take off angles, but this tank line doesn't at all.
Yeah.
It wants to get aggressive, it wants to get in a fight, it wants to stay up close and personal.
Great rotation, by the way.
It was.
On the
I
side of NAL.
loved seeing that. So
And
okay,
you're
we
instantly,
have,
gonna see that swap come
Memo
in.
swapping over to Tracer. That's good. Good swap. However, they do lose Young Shield, and Beagle falling down dangerously low. Tries to hide behind the statue for healing, but just doesn't find it quick enough, and Sky gonna go ahead and knock that one out. And I didn't get to see how Memo fell, but is Danny able to find a res on the Beagle here? Looks like the tank line, yeah, NA wants to take his high ground back, but that's huge, because right now, they're leaving their left side, or their right side, sorry, wide open. If they wanted to, they have Lucio. Valkyries could hard push on this right side here and just go straight to point and force a brawl on point. Memo swaps again, but the picks are just coming through. They're kind of standing there with a disadvantaged DPS line. Like, they don't have as much damage as NAL's doing. They're just kind of standing out in the open.
I mean,
and
you're
letting
seeing
themselves
the same.
take so much damage.
Yeah, you're seeing the same thing that we saw earlier. The DPS on NA ult are just gonna consistently shut down Valk's DPS here. Like, you're losing the DPS war ultimately. And I think the issue is like,
There's the rush I was saying they needed to do last fight. But now NA ult has built up a couple ults. They have this Bob. Sakura's in trouble. Bob has Sakura in their line of sight. Young falling a little bit low here to top off. Beagle already dangerously low. Half health. Memo in the back line gets picked off. They found the pick on the Sky, but it's gonna get rezzed up, so it's a net loss here.
huge.
Good beat, gonna negate the
But now you have Tyre coming in.
But now Tyre comes in.
Ooh,
Great
good
block
block.
from Young. Those blocks are so hard to get. Unfortunately, though, they're still down with DPS. Beagle's playing really, really aggressively.
There's that ult.
And Young has to go in to help their Zarya out, but Mr. Link's gonna punish them for it.
Young is gonna get shut down with that Shatter there. It would have been huge. And they're just gonna clean up here. Great supercharger, great placement there on the side of NA ult. Beagle, you're gonna see Beagle swap on over.
To the Roadhog.
Yeah, you need to play your best characters really here at this point.
You still don't have anything to pressure this double shield yet. They're just going to consistently keep putting more damage out in the mid fight, like the mid-range fights, but it doesn't seem like Valkyries want to take anything but a mid-range fight. And you have Mr. Link on Junkrat just kind of poking at him from their left out right. window getting used here. They're just burning time bank with that ultimate. They know that they're not going to engage them when they pop that ultimate.
Look, they're
They
playing really slow here. Yeah.
Yep. And here comes Dragons at the really good placement.
There's
Immortality
Tyre.
Field. It's forcing Gyro into the. It forced Gyro to split up, and Mr. Link finding huge picks. Danny's gonna find a res. Mr. Link gonna try and deny it, but gets hooked by Beagle. Able to get back to their team though. They're willing to give up a tick here for better positioning. Sky finds a pick on the Memento and throws the Bob in. Bob's not contesting, not gonna let them get any more percentage. Great halt pulls Reinhardt right back into the damage that they were trying to escape from, and Bob finds a final pick on the Danny. Mr. Link in trouble though in the back line. Beagle's still alive, Sakura able to get the OT, Beagle trying to stall a little bit longer, you can take a little more damage. But I think it's too little too late.
Yeah. I don't know if that DPS choice on the side of Valks was the best.
Score.
I think if you're going to stick with the Tracer, you should have...
We need to pause.
We'll pause there, wait for Sky.
Finish your take.
I think if you're gonna choose Tracer there, you know, like, maybe not the best DPS, but if you're gonna choose Tracer, I think you should have been flanking, to try to either, you know, focus down the support line or focus down that DPS line, because Mr. Link there and Sky were doing the most, there against your team, so, you know, maybe keep them distracted for a little if you're going to stick with the composition that Valk did stick with.
Right. The issue that I think Valks are running into right now is that they're not taking a fight where they need to be, like, taking their fights. They're not playing into their strengths at all. They're playing compositions that are a little counterintuitive to the rest of the heroes on their team's goals. Like I mentioned earlier, they're running these, like, brawly tank lines with long-range hit scan. I think that if they're going to play, like, Tracer, what they need to be doing is sending the Tracer into the back line to harass and give them the ability to kind of, like, ease the pressure from the tank line. The tank line that ULT is running is just better in every way for the fights that they're taking. The Sigma Orisa is dealing so much damage in the long range, or the mid to long range, that their composition just can't keep up with. And the only way you're going to be able to counter that is to use the Lucio that they did have to either quickly skate around it and force them into a fight in close quarters combat that tank line wants. But it rolls back to that's not what your DPS line wants.
Right.
So even if you get them in the position that the tank line needs them in, the Ashe and the Hanzo aren't going to thrive in those situations. And the Tracer swap might thrive a little bit better in it, but not well enough.
Yeah. I agree with you, Katie, in chat, too. If you're going to run Brawl, you need to commit to it. And I think that's what you were saying, too.
That is.
Yeah.
Sky Blue is spectating. We just need to
swap them back in.
Yeet them back to their team.
There we go. Swap to blue team. We're going to go ahead. Alright.
They left again? Oh, they joined. Okay. Oh, that was you throwing them in, wasn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, if you're going to run Brawl, you need to commit to it. A lot of swaps were coming in from the DPS line there on Valks. You know, at the beginning you saw a lot of swaps, but at the end of the day you saw little Masala go right back into the Hanzo there, which I don't think was doing too much. I think I would have preferred a Junk here or an Ashe.
Yeah.
Maybe to, you know,
you can run an
even
Ashe
a
of your own,
farmer.
which they did for, I think, they did run the Ashe of their own that entire time, I believe, right? Or am I, like, absolutely crazy right now? They were running a long-range hero, be it Hanzo or Ashe.
Hanzo
I think
Widow.
it was Hanzo they were running.
Hanzo Widow is what I think what you were.
So, but it doesn't really matter if you try to contest that long range, if the long range you're fighting has a double shield pocket, like just letting Ashe rain down onto you while all you have is a Reinhardt shield that's trying to push forward and constantly put you in a position you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
I think what I genuinely think, if like it just loops back to what Katie said. If you're gonna run Brawl, stick to it. You should have picked heroes that would have burst down the shield really quickly at close range.
Yeah.
Maybe pick a Junkrat or a Pharah.
I like this comp that NAO is running. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I like it. They're doing a, you know, hog ball here, hog ball torture, and then we're gonna have. Maybe
there's
they're
some
juking.
disrespect happening here. If they actually run this.
Yeah, and then you're gonna see the far. Okay, Tracer. Okay, there we go. He's trying to swap on over.
There we
They're
go.
just juking us here. We're gonna see that Orisa. We're gonna see Ashe, Tracer, Brig, Bap. And then on the side of Valks, we're gonna see a Bastion here with the Ryan Hog, May, Bap, and Mercy.
Defend objective A.
We need a. Can we get another pause?
I do believe we can. They have 2 in total. Or 3. 3 3-minute long pauses.
Okay. So right off the bat, what we're seeing here from Valkyries to hold this, they have a large order here. They've got to do a lot of holding. So they're going to commit to a Bastion strat with a May, but they're still running a tank line that really won't sustain it that well. The Reinhardt's not going to be getting you any value outside of a shield with more health than Orisa's. The problem with that, though, in my opinion, is just that Reinhardt's shield isn't on a flat cooldown that regens while it's breaking. So in the long run, you'll end up needing to wait like 5, 6, 7 seconds to get your shield back up while Bastion's taking damage. So I think that with proper attention from NA ult management, they should be able to break this Bastion comp relatively easily if they're not looking to just blow past them and get on the point.
Right. Yep.
Their current composition, I think it's going to struggle with it. They're going to have to go back to spawn and make some swaps, but I think once they do, they'll be ahead of Valkyries here.
I don't know if I would hold high ground. I think it's a, you know, good strat here to hold high ground, but you do only need a tick and a half here. It just depends how fast are you gonna alternate.
Reinhardt's already dropped. They're gonna use this Tracer just to pressure point a little bit. Mr. Link is gonna be able to pull this entire team down, which I think actually might be a bit of a blessing in disguise for this composition, because now 3 heroes on their team are getting more value than they just were up on that high ground.
Yep.
They are gonna hide here. I don't know if it's intentionally or not. They're gonna hide here on this right side from NA ult management, force them to come down. Prophetic gonna go ahead and start pushing over here. They've caught Beagle out of position. Not gonna be able to execute on it though. They're starting to push in. The Bastion's gonna start shredding their shields out from under them, and Beagle able to find a pick on the Mr. Link. Nice stun on the Memo, but it's not gonna find any pick. Reinhardt's shield is getting weak here. Gyro just sucking up all the damage they can.
NA ult here is playing really well with this wall here against this Bastion.
They know they don't have all the shields that Valkyries know they don't have all the shields that NA ult are using. And they're doing a really good job playing around the Soul Shack too.
Look at this respect here, that they realize that they've lost a support, start instantly pulling back.
Well, you have Mr. Link in the backline unspotted.
Yep.
Oh wait, no, I think Beagle might have seen.
Beagle knows
that. Beagle did not. Oh, now Beagle knows. Beagle is definitely aware of it now.
I think, yeah, they were aware of it, but they didn't know exactly where they were located. They have to be careful with showing that Tracer
Prophetic
too
starting to
much
push this
attention.
team in. They put the shield down. They don't see the Bastion just yet. They finally see it. Good shield dash coming in from Big, but not going to find a pick off of it. Never mind, Sky Blue able to finish off the main, and the res is going to come through. Mr. Link gets picked off. They're going to start investing here. They use the window, but they're hiding from it. This window's getting them no value where it's at now, but
Nice.
Gyro able to find a pick on the Beagle. Gyro's coming off from an off angle on the other side. They're pincering them. They're going to get lifted here. And now the Blizzard coming in to try and keep NA ult off of them, but they're finding 2 picks. They've
got to take care of that Frisbee.
The ultimates are starting to come out, and it's too much for Valkyries to handle. Beagle's their only hope of touching, but Roadhog just not fast enough to make it.
Victory.
That'll be Blizzard World going over to NA Ultimate. We're going ahead and make the series 2-0.
Play of the game.
This was a really good play here to not get too intimidated by the Blizzard going ahead and pop an ultimate. Really good, like, focus there. that. Because NAL really, or sorry, I keep reversing their names. Valkyries really thought that that Blizzard was going to be enough for them to go on ahead and push in with the ultimates they had and take that fight back, but with that Supercharger investment, it evened out the odds a little bit. It's risky to throw a Supercharger down into a Blizzard though, because the Blizzard will damage your Supercharger. Good play coming out from both of these teams so far. It just seems like Valks are losing a little bit in the composition department. Their inability to really flex onto other heroes seems to be starting to hurt them.
Right. Yeah, no, I have to agree with you here.
But I don't think they're out by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I do think that if
This could
Valk
absolutely turn into a reverse sweep.
Yeah, I think if Valk just plays a little tighter here and plays the compositions, like fully commits to the comps that they want to run, like for Brawl, if they fully commit to that, they could, you know, take a map. Or even take the series. Okay, we'll go ahead and do a swap all here. Let me get this map in. Next map is going to be Volskaya. Okay.
Yay!
Then we'll get our swaps in. Swap all.
Volskaya is a fun map in the sense of you never know if it's gonna, like, it's that 1-2 CP map that I go to and I'm just like, okay, this is either gonna be a match that I really, really enjoy or want to forget happened in the next 10 minutes. And there's really no in between on that with Volskaya.
Yep.
The A choke on Volskaya is so brutal.
That is also true. Okay, so I have Kenny, Legit, and Filthy for NA.
Alright.
I think Sky is just gonna reset real quick. Okay. Alright, and then on the side of Valk, we're gonna have K2 and Pookie come in.
Full swap out of the tank line. We're gonna see K2 back in and Snipsy for the first time. Normally known as Pookie, right?
I've played with Pookie, but I've played with Pookie on DPS. So I didn't get the chance to really see them on tank yet. Okay, we're gonna have Lil Masala in on DPS. And what's the score for me?
2-0 in favor of NAL management.
There you go, stream. And then we're gonna have Senpai, and ooh, Living Truth is gonna come in on the support line when they get here. Where you at? And then, okay, so while we wait for Living Truth to get in, we will do the swaps for NA ult. NA ult is gonna do Filthy, gonna come in for Prof. And Filthy and Gyro are gonna be the tank line here. We're gonna have Mr. Link and Legits come back in for the DPS line. And Kenny and Budweiser are gonna be in the support line. So Kenny's gonna come in for Big O. There we go.
This looks like a fun roster right now for NAL management. I'm interested to see what Filthy's gonna bring to the table over Prophetic, because I feel like Prophetic's been a really key piece to their success today.
Yeah, I didn't get to talk about it enough, I feel.
Same.
Prophetic popped on that Orisa. I think they were defending. Popped on that Orisa there. But yeah, dude, nasty cleanups on the side of Prof here.
Looks like we can expect just about anything out of Filthy Reindeer, as they have 7 tanks
Yeah,
in their
no,
top
I
10
know
most played heroes,
Filthy
and
is
they're
a
all
nasty good
7
tank.
most played.
Really flex there. Okay. Live in truth, live in truth. So up to that blue team. Okay. Alright, got the readiest? Go ahead and jump right on in.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries.
Well, we discussed it earlier in the show. NA ult management need a clean 4-0 to better their position in the standings.
And looking like how it's been going so far, they are getting really close to that clean 4-0 here. But don't, you know, throw Valks
Don't
out
sleep
the
on
window.
those Valkyries just yet. They'll sneak up on you and they will get you.
Especially on that first round, we saw the potential that Valks has here.
Ready for battle.
And with these swaps coming in, hopefully we can see that potential once again. So on the side of Valks, we're going to have K2 on that Ryan that we love. Pookie is going to be on that Zarya. And Young is going to be on Soldier. We have that Soldier for good, you know, hit scan. And Young has been doing good on Soldier. I just would be very careful with the tac visor because it looks like NA ult is doing a good job on focusing Young down. But we're going to see that Mercy Lucio. And then on the side of NA ult, we're going to see that Diva Ball here. We're going to see a Far Mercy with a Widow and a Moira. They're maximizing that support line as best as they can.
See the Far Mercy already peeking, but Young gonna go ahead and start taking early shots. Falls down low, but getting the pocket from their own Mercy. The ball comes in though, Gyro slams on him. And takes, with the help of Master Link here, gonna find an early pick on the Young, but Masala finds another counter pick on the Link, and the rest coming through on the Young. It's gonna force Valkyries back here onto the point, but NAL gonna use their Wrecking Ball to come back here. They just want to harass Young. Gonna go ahead and roll out of here with half health. Link back on the point now, above it actually on the hut. Gonna drop down. Nice arrow coming in from Masala, able to find that pick at a really odd angle above the hut.
There we go.
Young finding the pick on the legits
up.
just for trying to exist for a second. They get a D-Mech on the Filthy, gonna force Filthy out of this fight. Gonna go ahead and also finish off the stagger pick on the Baby Diva.
Yeah, no, I do agree with chat here. Stop playing Mercy Lucio with Orion. I feel like Lucio is just not what he used to be. It's a good form of AoE healing, but I think Moira would be a better pick here.
Moira would be a better pick here, especially when you're planning on popping your DPS. You need somebody to do some form of burst healing on the main body of the team at all times with this spell comp. Lucio's not it.
Ooh, and legit swaps on over.
So much shield pressure just came through while I was trying to talk about that. And now this double shield composition that NA ult's been running all night is going to really start to favor. Now that they have shields, 2 of them that Valkyries don't have. Young going to go ahead and pop the sack visor. Really at an odd angle though. Going to get blocked by the Sigma shield, but it forces NA ult back.
Yeah,
And that's what they need. They need time for K2 to come back. And Snipsy finding a pick on the turret, that helps out a little bit. That's some of the damage mitigated now. K2 makes it back, is given a bubble, and now they have a shield of their own. A very healthy one at that, and Orisa's shield gets melted immediately, so Filthy Reindeer does not have that off cooldown yet. Sigma's gonna lose their shield. Link is critically low. Valkyrie's being invested to get to the Graviton Surge being used here. However, Immortality Field is up, it's gonna keep everybody healthy. Gyro does find the pick on the Snipsy though, that's going to be huge. Danny getting the res, Bob thrown in, Mossela's already weakened Link, and find the pick from the Bob toss up. And now Link has high ground, they're over the hut, and Bob's shooting at anybody trying to hide in the mini room.
Huge shatter!
Huge! It
but no follow-up.
To the enemy team. They're all weak, Young gonna get the final blow on the Mr. Link.
Oh.
Gyro's gonna go ahead and invest Flux, it's gonna find Young.
There
now
we go.
Getting invested from the right side, K2's in trouble here. And now, Mr. Link back up on this high ground, has the angle, gonna start finding picks. K2 and Live in Truth are stuck in this mini room, they're gonna push out, they wanna try and get this pick on the Filthy Reindeer, but they're not gonna find it before K2 falls. It's all up to Truth to solve, but they fall. And now Mossela trying to come back, but Filthy Reindeer with a nice halt and some really good accuracy afterwards, gonna go on ahead and find the critical kill on the Mossela.
You know, we have... on the side of Valks, they're doing a great job comboing ults here, which is something we didn't see beforehand. I don't think we saw that as much as I would have liked to have seen it. But I think that's due to these new like swaps that they have come in, and I say new because we haven't played them before. Most specifically, Pookie on the Zarya on the tank line here. I think that's why we can...
really good dynamite coming in.
Blame
now that the window's out,
there.
it's going to help a lot. They're going to have to hug this right side of the point. It's going to force this double shield comp to come down once the Orisa shield comes back on cooldown. That turret's going to get melted almost immediately here. Now Bob's getting tossed in. That's their go button. Bob created space. The supercharger coming through. Bob and the supercharger is actually really freaking scary here, so it's going to force them off the point. The res comes through on the Young, and that's huge. They have attack visor.
Ooh, Grab gets eaten by Gyro here. Great.
Right now, this is a really chaotic fight. NA ults are being forced off the point for the most part, but they're just trying to find the kills before they really put themselves on it. K2 able to charge onto the point. Danny follows in suit. Just trying to stay alive, but the only one who can really touch right now. The dragons go on the point, but it's not really hitting anybody, unfortunately. Molten Core being used here to block off entrances. Only finds half of both of them, though. The sustain is eventually going to start to come through here.
Ooh, Gyro getting these kills here. But Danny's going to get that sneaky res in.
K2 just tried to hide in the corner, but then Legit's just tossed a hammer or a Torbjorn turret onto it and said, no, you're not allowed to hide here. Find a different corner.
Bob.
Yeah, that's huge to be able to build Bob up like that again.
Yeah,
and 7 people to cap point is a weird thing to see.
Once NA ult management just established their point presence, it was really hard for Valks to take that back. Especially once that grab got eaten, I felt like that was big yikes. And you saw that their combo was gonna, the combo was gonna get yelled out. You saw the dragons come in, but, you didn't have the grab to capitalize off of that. And that was a big yikes. But Gyro tonight is playing great on this Sigma. Very, very nice. But yeah, like I was saying, I think Valks can owe this like comboing ults, which is really nice, to Pookie. I think that's the person who's, I can't, zoom through their comms or anything, but I do think that that's the change that we saw from the other maps get thrown in, and I think it's working really nice. But it's just, I think, they're getting out DPS'd here. It doesn't look like, I was gonna say, it doesn't look like anyone is making focus calls. They're just kind of, running in and staggering. But I do agree with you, Katie. Tonight we're just, missing the speed and the, the fastness that we need from Valks. And NA ult is just capitalizing off of that consistently.
Again, some counter comp issues with Valkyries that wasn't as present in their last composition with this Hanzo Genji. You're not getting any real spam damage in of your own to push in and get aggro like they want, so you're just going to try to take a poke war that the tank line's going to lose every time. However, they do force out the immortality field really early here, so that leaves a, I believe, 20-second opportunity here for a pick. Gonna get a nice fire strike, finds a couple of people, puts in the ult. K2 already 50% of the way to shatter. This Pharah though, kind of uncontested, already has Barrage, drops it, but unfortunately they lose Pharah. However, the tank line's already gone for Valks.
And it looks like this is a lost fight. It's just time to pull back.
They need Young to really pop on this Genji like they were earlier in the match in Lee Fei.
I think what they really need is an Ashe here, especially in today's like meta, you know? Ashe is really powerful.
I would say yes, if it weren't for the composition they're running. They need something to help break these shields.
Yeah, maybe a Junk, honestly. I wouldn't be mad at either an Ashe or a Junk.
I would say a Junk, absolutely. A Junk or a Pharah. K2 found the turret, went ahead and acknowledged it. Gonna try and take it out, I would assume. They're just getting funneled into this corner. Good molten core here, gonna negate a lot of this aggression. K2 just walks through it. Muscle finding a pick.
Oh, there we go.
And Snipsy finds Gyro. Those are two huge picks. However, Rez is just gonna come through on the legits, but I think the damage is done. The utilities are gone. Muscle throws a dragon in onto the hut and takes out Filthy Reindeer. All that's really left on point now is Filthy Reindeer and, Buttweiser and, Mr. Link, but they get taken out while I'm trying to save their bear.
Masala and Pookie there really pushed through, and especially with Pookie's high charged right now, it's gonna be really hard if you don't focus him down.
With 4 ultimates in the bank. Now, NA ult management are going to come up on 2 more, which will put them at 4 as well, but if they're quick about this, they shut it down before it starts.
Huge grab, but are we going to have anybody to follow up on it? There we go.
Blade comes through! Maslow can pick on the Gyro. Gyro Blade gets shut down though, and a huge barrage with the damage boost from the supercharger. They're going to shut this entire push down. And now, Valkyries lose out on 3 of those 4 ults I just said they had, and same goes for Valkyries.
And you're gonna see them, the DPS line for Valks here swap around. You're gonna see Young on that Soldier and Masala gonna go on that McCree, but Young is gonna get picked off.
Pick on the Young, just tossing grenades out in the choke from a place he can't even be seen from.
That would have been a huge Dragon Blade there with that grab, but I think you really needed either a damage boost.
Field stopped it. They weren't able to get picks because there was an immortality field there.
Was that?
I think they got it in the first slash, but
from what I saw, the Immort was gone. They popped a blade after.
If the immortality field was gone, it left the frame peaceful. And the tire come through here just went over this window on the right side, finding Snipsy and Truth. That's really helpful. That's your off tank and your off support both gone. That's a dead push now.
But I think what you really needed there on that Grav Blade was a damage boosted Mercy there with you or a Nano. I think that would have been ideal.
So it's like they're going to start pushing one lane again, but the window comes out again. We're just going to buy time with this, and another barrage coming through, gets damage boosted, finds Masala Truth, and gets an exit pick on the K2. Pookie able to find a pick on the Link, but I do bet that gets rezzed up unless it fell off the elevator.
There's no need to res it up. It's a one fight. And Pookie here with this high charge, just not able to capitalize off of this high charge whatsoever. You need your team there helping you push in.
Double shield is gonna block the Zarya's ability to get any value because your Zarya is your primary source of shield break. They have made some swaps now. Soldier and McCree will help with shield break.
Gonna start engaging off of the speed.
Good shatter, however, Filthy gonna use gold to stay alive, and immortality field comes out. It did kill Gyro. I did not know if it would be.
There we go. There we go. We're gonna need these picks in.
Gyro getting res, but Valkyries have the momentum they need here. They got the picks off the initial engage. and now they're trying to keep Filthy Reindeer off point. Really good dynamite from
They need
Link.
to.
I don't think it's going to be enough.
If they keep capitalizing off of these,
oh, Jump Grab Tire could change everything. It
Got their
finds
support
Living
down.
Truth. And now the respawns are going to start being a problem. Packflies are coming through there from Young. Young and Pookie are popping off again.
There we go.
Filthy Reindeer uses gold to stay out of the grabs. Throws out a supercharger, but K2 with 2 hammer swings to take out both Reindeer and their supercharger. And Pookie is just popping on the Zarya. Once you let a high charge Zarya onto the point like this, it will melt everything down. And now all that's left on point is a Wrecking Ball, but Pookie takes that out too. And
There we
that will be a full completion of Volskaya from both teams. We will go into the overtime.
And yeah, so like I was saying, I think putting Pookie in on this tank line is a huge advantage for Valks here. I think Pookie is the one who's really, and I'm not sure, but like I think Pookie is the one here making the call-outs necessary and really helping the team here synergize a little better, a little cleaner. Even with the composition they were running, it all worked out, especially Young on that soldier popping that Takabizer in the most like necessary fight.
I would have to break that down again because that kind of happened in like an instant where Valkyries just took complete control of that entire fight, and they really just snowballed it into their favor the second it started.
Yeah. Oh, and we're finally gonna get that Ashe that we've been asking for. Young is gonna be on that Ashe. We're gonna have Masala come on that Junk. Pookie's gonna swap on over to that Sigma. Interesting. And you're gonna have that double shield here on the side of Valks with K2. And you're still gonna have that Moira Lucio. Maybe the team is gonna speed boost to point, who knows. But on the side of NA ult, we're gonna have this double shield, Orisa Sigma. We're gonna have Junk, Ashe, kind of a mirror DPS line. And you're gonna have Mercy and Bap. And instantly you're going to see these rotations come through. They're going to go meet them on the high ground there. And fights are going to start breaking out.
Yeah, this is a really good rotation here on the side of Valkyries. Come up here and take this fight head on. Their composition will excel with this a little bit, but it forces K2 down because of the shield break. They're going to go ahead and start taking point presence here. K2 doesn't really have a shield. Their entire team needs to come down. Link going to get the pick on the Young. Too! Muscle never came down and they didn't clock that, so Muscle just got free picks up there. However, Kenny gonna find a crazy res of the Link.
And if you leave Mr. Link up there,
again, just going nuts. They just need to get the cleanup onto the Ashe in this Mega, and they do, but now they just gotta run it over to B and try to get a tick or more there.
They did save most. I don't think I saw an ult being used there. So that's really good for them.
Really close to a Riptire, which will be huge for a fight on point here. They have Coalescence. They're gonna have beat after about 2 seconds in the fight here. And they have Shatter. All they need to do is get K2 in really close.
But you also have Tire. You have, NA ult is closer to their ults than Valk.
And you are right, they're going to have 6 ultimates for this fight here. Meanwhile, Young got picked off early and didn't get to build up bottom.
Are they going to touch? There we go. Huge!
Shadow coming in through from K2, knocking down the tank line. The Tire comes through from Legit, trying to pick up the Danny. Now the Tire from Valkyries is going to come through. It's looking for something, finds a Baptiste, knocks out Filthy Reindeer shields. Can they get on point? Can they take out Filthy Reindeer? I don't think he's been really being called out here. Filthy Reindeer just being allowed to exist in this corner. Living Truth finally on the Lucio. Takes the goal. The Vedic Force being invested. It doesn't find Bob though, and Bob's going to keep contesting regardless. Living Truth is there, keeping themselves up. Danny is healing up Living Truth too, and they still have Pookie on point. The damage is still there. The Bob will expire, so a lot of their help did just leave. But K2's back. Muscle is back.
And you see these swaps
and this is
come in.
Really messy. Masala able to find a pick up the Kenny here. The ball coming through, like nice pile drive, lifting the team into the air. And while they're up there, he's able to find Masala, but K2 getting a pick on the Doomfist now. The pulse bomb coming through, doesn't find anything. Now Filthy Reindeer just trying to mitigate some of the damage with DM. Coalescence again coming out here from the Valkyries.
And if you don't see
And
them
you have to spin the wind coming in
clean
from
this
Gyro, really
point
nice
up,
rock to take them off of it.
if you don't see
The
them
tank
clean
is
this
just
point
trying
up,
to
dude.
stay alive. They're waiting on Legits, and there it is. Legit is starting to get the picks to come through. They find Live in Truth, and that's a lot of healing going.
And
He's
it's
gonna
only
fall
K2.
because of it. And now the Meteor Strike comes in, K2 falls. I think that's it. The respawns finally get the cleanup. That was a crazy fight where we saw almost everybody build their ult twice.
Yep. Yeah, the issue there was that you saw Valk gain control of the point there, but they weren't fast enough to clean up that point, and you saw the respawn advantage start to come in and start to, and then especially with the swaps that NA ult management started to do, the stall swaps, it was, you know, it was a one fight at that point.
The problem with what happened there for Valks was really unfortunate, just in the matter of fact of what members of their team died early in that fight. The things that would have closed out kills for them weren't there, so they had to invest ultimates to stay alive for their respawns to get back, whereas NA ult management was able to use their ultimates to clear out Valkyries from the point.
Yep. And then on the side of, for this point, we're gonna see NA ult go double shield here. We're gonna see that Genji Ashe, which I personally am a fan of. I love seeing the Genji Ashe. But you're also gonna see a Mercy and a BAP here. And then on the side of Valk, they are defending. You're gonna see Young on that Soldier. You're gonna see the Mercy Lucio. You're gonna see Masala go on that Junk. And actually, on the side of NA ult, you're gonna see that Genji swap on over to a Junk, which I like. And then you're gonna see the Ryan Orisa here. And it's actually gonna be Pookie on this Ryan now. So we'll see how that plays out.
And the shield poke wars will begin here. Orisa.
Gonna start backing
they
up.
have been adding the second shield into their competition. But Mr. Lincoln will find to pick up the K2.
That's gonna be huge for them.
They have Danny to get the res if he can.
He will, but it's gonna cost Danny's life.
On that push, and now it's just gonna be an ult management running them over. Young isn't going to be able to clear out all 6 of these players, but Live in Truth might be able to buy some time for a recontest, maybe? No, just 1 HP gonna fall. Does Young try to contest? No, they're gonna burn out.
NA ult is doing a great job capitalizing
for Valkyries because the main ultimate difference you see on their team is Legit's tire build compared to Masala's. They're not going to find a support ult this next fight. However, Legits will find tire, and if they don't have beat, that could be huge for them.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see here is the snowball.
If they only have tire to make it happen, it's absolutely winnable for Valkyries. And they use the immortality field already for NA ult. But Masala already finding a pick on the link that's gonna hurt the snowball
that's
chance.
One support.
Only gonna find Live in Truth. The main healer's still in, and Danny can rip it. Live in Truth is gonna be brought back into this fight, and that Riptide is gonna be rendered useless. They use the window here. It's gonna force Spooky into the corner, but great to find the beginning make.
Spooky's gonna go down and Live in Truth.
And now here comes the tire from Valkyries. Can it find anything? Link shuts it down. It's Danny falls too. Now the attack is coming out. Is it gonna find many picks? No. Young dies. Pookie able to find the charge on the Buttweiser on the re-entry, but now it's just gonna be up to them to stall on point with the shield for as long as possible. They break it, and now I don't know. Danny was so close to touching, but that will be NA ult management taking Volskaya Industries and setting the series 3-0.
I really, you know, we keep seeing Valk at their strongest pop through on these maps. But, you know, big unfortunate, it's just like they're not being able, you know, their ults are getting shut down, or they haven't been able to capitalize off of the picks they're getting like NA ult management is doing. I think that's the, you know, the biggest issue there. You really, you know, highlight performances of this map here was Pookie and Young, and you know, if you only have those two popping and, you know, capitalizing off of these pushes that Valk is doing, you're gonna find it harder for the team to follow through with that. if you're,
Mm-hmm.
putting out the most damage there. Alright, next map. This is map 3? Map 4? Map 4?
Map 4.
Yeah. And I believe it's Junkertown, yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh, Junkertown. You can run a lot of comps on Junkertown. I think that's why I love this map the most. I think this is probably my favorite map. You can run that brawl that you want to run, but also very, very good double shield map. You could even run that ball hog torture that you have seen.
Hog and ball torture. One of these days, somebody will run it for realsies. You can also run dive on Junkertown. It's not as strong on point A, but it's really strong on points B and C.
Alright. So, for Valks on this team, you're going to see K2 and Pookie. But before that, we must swap all. Right? Yeah, I'm right.
Yes, ma'am.
You know I get confused.
That's why I'm here to help.
Alright. Okay, and then we have Sky, Big O, and Prophetic. We'll be spectating blue. Okay. And okay, and we're gonna have, as I say that, we're actually gonna have Sakura come in for Pookie on the tank line. I'm gonna have Peepers or Memo come in on the DPS line, and then Weiss Queen also on the DPS line. We're gonna have Danny and Ravioli Stain come in for the support line. So really, we just Live in Truth is gonna sit out on this one. And then on the side of NA ult, so far it's 3-0 NA, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so it looks like we're playing map 4 now to see if NA gets that 4-0 that we were talking about, or if Valks get that, steal that map away from them.
Valkyries are still going to want to take a map at the very least. I do believe they are, just from eyeballing it, mathematically locked in the playoffs, but they are still eligible to keep their specific position if they have
rankings?
a well enough.
Nice.
Yeah, as long as they have a well enough map differential, they can still hold their position even if they do take this loss tonight. So
Yeah.
Valkyries are still going to want this map differential. It could keep them tied with, or it could keep them above Duck Duck Goats, depending on how their game this week goes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I do think so. Valk is a really strong team. I think the only issue here was that just the focus calls, weren't as tight as Valks would have liked. But really strong. I mean, they were, we saw just how dangerous Valks was in the first round in map 1 and just previously. That was a really close map. Really, really close. And I'm especially loving K2 on this Ryan that we're seeing. Just consistently doing Ryan things. Great shield management on the side of K2. And the shatters that we keep seeing are consistently huge, 2Ks, 3Ks. I just think that the only issue here is the focus calls. I think everyone's kind of focusing on a different target, and of course that comes with the nerves that are being set in for this team. But on the side of NA Alt, they're doing a great job just DPSing, like you can feel the synergy throughout this team. You can feel the DPS consistently like getting the picks that they need, especially Mr. Link on this DPS that we're seeing tonight. Great flex, we've seen the flex that Mr. Link is able to do, and consistently get picks on these characters. There's a difference between flexing and being comfortable with the character that you're flexing too. All right, and then on this side of NA Alt, yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, this is literally just adding. Like, I agree with all of your points there.
Okay, so for the side of NA Alt, we're gonna see Sky and Filthy go on the tank line here, and then on the DPS, we're gonna see Prof and Gyro. So complete change. Okay, and then for the support line, we're gonna see Legit and Big O. Complete change there as well. Alright, and with that being said, I do believe we're just waiting on readies.
Alright.
But away from just the compositions that they're running and the highlighted players, great rotations on the side of NA Alt.
Yeah, NA Alt had some really interesting. I mean, same as for Valk, honestly. Both these teams are taking some really good rotations
and they're doing it clean.
Sure.
Yeah.
Valkyries seem to come more to life on Volskaya, because I would say their rotations on Blizzard World were a little iffy and slow, but they looked a lot better on Volskaya. It looked like they had pre-planned their pathing and knew exactly what they wanted to do, where they wanted to be, and how they wanted to get there.
Yep. I do agree there.
By the end of Volskaya, I would say both these teams are doing really, really well with their pathing and rotations.
Yep. Valk's definitely made NAL sweat a little there on Volskaya.
And the series was on the line for Valk, so it was they had to leave it all on the stage right there, or go home without the series win. But now they do still have something to fight for with it being this close.
Ball torture.
Oh my goodness, they're running it. They're actually running it.
They're gonna see the hug and ball torture come on the side of NAL. You're gonna see Genji Sombra here for the DPS line, and then you're gonna see Ana Lucio for their support line. And then on the side of Valks here, they may just be juking me, but we're gonna see the double shield Orisa Ryan from K2 and Sakura. And then you're gonna see a Widow Junk from Weiss Queen and Memo, or Peepers. And then you're gonna see Danny on that Bap and Ravioli on that Zen. I do love a good Zen here. It's such an open map that it's easier for your team to focus on.
I said I wanted to see Hog and Ball Torture, but I also said I wanted to see somebody actually run it and not do a beam pick with it. Also, Gyro's positioning there was really interesting. Crouched in a bush just to get a quick hack off on the K2. I didn't see if they actually got the hack on the K2, but they did find a pick anyway.
Oh.
Prophetic able to get the deflect kill, if I heard that
Yep.
correctly, onto Memo. So, really
That's
nice
both of
counter
the DPS line out of the ball game here for Valks.
And Prophetic
And you're
finally pick on the Danny, too.
You're seeing just a nice
Sky
cleanup
on
here.
the Roadhog, a different role than we've seen from them so far tonight.
Legit out here.
Pick on team, you know.
You're gonna see the support line just DPSing here. Oh man. Oh, and then we're gonna see a Pharmercy come out.
That Valks might have gotten a little mentally boomed there. It was the first fight, so I don't want to judge too much, but like, it seems like they're kind of letting NAL get away with whatever they really want to here.
And I mean, I can't blame them either.
There.
But they did put up a great fight. No reason to mentally boom yourself.
Right.
And you're gonna see that swap to D.Va here. D.Va's
There's
gonna
not
get
really
hacked.
anything contesting this Pharmacy on NAL.
Yeah, I think that's
They're
why you
just
have
kind of
that
playing
D.Va.
around it.
But not really gonna be able to do much if you're constantly getting hacked.
Well, I mean, I guess ball is somewhat of a soft counter. If your aim's good enough. People actually would be surprised how accurate wrecking ball is. I think. Being a wrecking ball, gonna slam down on the K2, not gonna find the slam though. White Queen gonna chase the ball
Huge
off.
GMP, gonna get
attack, finding five members of Valkyries. And Gyro gets to pick on the ravioli. Gonna go ahead and pop Nano Blade here. Finds Danny, slashes down on the D.Va, gets the D-Mech, and gets one slash off on the baby. Prophetic. You don't need to crouch that much. Just kind of spawn camping a little bit with this.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna see White swap on over to that Torb.
Enemy turret destroyed.
But it gonna kind of focus
the
down that
Torb
far.
gets pulled straight out of spawn room and into the clutches of Roadhog, and now Sombra might be able to get this pick on the Memo. They fall down to 1 HP, but I don't think Gyro had Translocator.
And you're not gonna see anyone kind of go to point. I think at this point they're really desperate for kills here.
Yeah.
Gonna pop trans here to stay alive, really.
Oh, this whole hog could be huge. It does. It knocks White Queen off, but Memo finds to pick up the Sky Blue anyway. K2's anti's gonna fall, but the trades are going back and forth here. This is absolutely winnable for Valkyries at this point. Guilty Reindeer gonna get pick up the Ravioli Stain. I can't tell if that was off the. No, it was not off the map.
K2's gonna get res. Really just need point presence here on this payload.
Only 25 seconds left. If you're NA ult management, what you want to do is you want to try to get the CMP off with the landmines.
But NA ult
If you
management.
shut off Reinhardt's shield, there's nothing to really negate these landmines from going through.
Definitely has more ult than.
There's the
there's that
EMP.
EMP.
There's the mines. And Nano Blade, or Blade will come through in a minute, but not with the Nano. Strikes in, there's the Blade. Sound barrier coming through to keep everybody healthy while the Blade goes off. Ravioli Stain 1 gonna fade into some landmines trying to get away. Bombs, that bomb is gonna be used to clear out the little bombs. Weiss Queen just comes on the point, but the overcharged state won't last long enough for them to stay alive. Sakura gets DMAC'd on the left side of Cart here and cleaned up pretty quickly, and that's a pretty convincing hold there.
For what it's worth there, I think Sakura did a great job on that D.Va. And that's coming from a D.Va main.
0-0.
And that is going to be NA ult's last pause. is going to be their last pause. Next disconnect is going to force a 5v6, so hopefully that doesn't happen. It's very hard to see with these colors.
Back.
Okay, we'll get readies from both sides. Do believe he's already in. Yep, already in. Disconnected at a great time though. You know, swapping rounds here. Alright, we got readies from both sides. We will go ahead and unpause.
Switching sides.
But I won't be able to hear the
Initiating
music.
match.
Instead, we just hear flies.
Woo!
Yay. But I do, you know, I do have to commend Sakura here with that diva. That diva gameplay seemed like it was the only thing, you know, getting the point moving. The only point presence that I consistently saw was Valk's tank lines here.
Ready for battle.
I'm gonna see a Winston Hog here on the side of NA with a Genji Sombra that we've been seeing. We're gonna see that Ana Lucio go through that we've been seeing. And then on the side of Valks, we're gonna see K2 on that Hog. We're gonna see Sakura on that Orisa. We're gonna see Memo or Peepers on the Widow. And we're going to see Weiss Queen on that beloved junk that we love so much from them. And then we're gonna see Danny and Ravioli be on the Moira. And you're gonna see them this Widow instantly go to that infamous Widow spot, try to get a pick first thing.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
And it looks like we're gonna instantly see this Winston start to blank on the side of Filthy Reindeer.
I'm just looking for an early pick here. I'm not quite able to find it onto this Lucio, who's presenting a lot of opportunities, but Reindeer are going to go ahead and dive down onto the Widow. Find an early pick there. A lot of cleave damage coming in from this Winston. Going to make it really easy to clean up. I'd say that Prophetic and Gyro come up there and just do exactly that. Now Valks are in a really, really dangerous spot. K2 gets pulled on the point. Gonna use Breather just to stall out and hopefully get their team there a little bit quicker. Sakura able to find a pick on the Big O. Is it gonna be enough? Sakura's alone, no healing, gonna die pretty quickly, gets hacked from Memo. And now all that's left to touch here is Ravioli. They make it on the Moira. The hook gets broken. Didn't quite make it on the player's client, but all that's left now is Danny on Brigitte, and this will be an extremely fast junker now. NA will win the series 4-0. So I said it at the top of the show. NA Ult management were definitely playing for a 4-0 tonight. I don't know if, given the situation they're in with the standings, I approve of the whole goof off on that board. But I mean, it worked, so this is big for them. It may, depending on how their opponents play, launch them up from 3rd into 2nd place. I do believe 1st place is hard locked though to Pegas for the playoffs. So now we get to do the fun part.
Yay! I already have my nominees. Are you ready? I think you'll agree with them for the most part.
Probably. Go for it.
So I do think that for the tank line, we'll start off with tank line. I think that NA and Valk did a great job from both sides with the tanks, but I do think that Valk owed that Volskaya really close matchup there to Pookie on YT Snipes. So personally, I want to throw that Pookie's way towards Valk's. I think tank MVP there was huge, especially because you could feel and you could, like, I don't know, like I could feel the synergy come back for Valks on that map there, and when Pookie was in, I felt like, and I'm not sure if that's the case, but I do feel like that was their main shot calling, and especially the ult combos there, I think were all owed to Pookie, and not often do I feel that way to a certain, player, but I do think that Pookie was the reason that that team came together there.
I'm fine with Pookie, but I do want to give an honorable mention to Prophetic on the first two maps specifically
I
for
can
their
get
tank
behind that.
play.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody play a tank and quietly, like, almost carry as much as Prophetic was. So I do want to give, like, an honorable mention to Prophetic, but I'm fine with giving Pookie the tank MVP for Valkyries.
No, I can agree with you. I think it was a really close call, actually, for me between Pookie and Prophetic there, because you saw the Orisa, especially on Orisa on Blizzard World, you saw them literally on every single kill, I think, assist, if not a full
and
kill.
even when they played Reinhardt on Lijiang Tower, they still looked really, really strong.
100%. Yeah, I agree with you there. So yeah, I think an honorable mention towards Prophetic would be ideal. Moving on to DPS. DPS is gonna have to go to NA ult. Who you thinking?
I'm honestly, I think I'm thinking legit.
Yeah.
I don't, or either legits or Mr. Link. Those are my two candidates.
It's the same thing for me, Mr. Link and legit. I think, well, this is kind of hard, but I do think that Mr. Link was definitely more flexible for me, at least.
The DPS line on their team worked so hand in hand because it was the chaos being created by the other DPS that really enabled the other DPS to do as much work as they did. So it's really 50-50 for me between Gyro and Mr. Link, because I think that the two of them did, or not Gyro, Legits. I just glanced at Gyro, so I said their name. Yep. Just because both of them, like, Link was getting so many picks on the hit scan that they were playing, but Legits was just creating so much chaos and getting enough picks of their own.
Yeah.
So
no, I definitely
I think I'm leaning a little more to Legits than Link, but Link absolutely popped when given the opportunity to.
Yeah. I want to say, like, I'll give this to you. I don't know, man. I just feel like Mr. Link did a great job with consistently getting picks, right? Like, I always saw his name in, or their name in the kill feed. Versus legit, I think the only time I really popped was on that Pharah, which they annihilated.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could give this to you. I feel like I'll go ahead and give this to you. We can give it to legit if you want to.
Yes, I very much so do.
I do agree then. So yeah, okay, there you go. DPS is going to go to legit. And then for support, who are you thinking?
It's the support line is kind of tough. Because so we have to give this one to NA ult, which I think for NA ults, Live in Truth was on NA ult, right? Or were they on Valk?
Valk.
Because they were one of my MVP candidates, but they left, so I don't remember which team they were.
Valk, yeah. Valk.
Okay.
I do think that Living Truth did a great job on that support line, but there were a couple picks like the Lucio. I wouldn't have chosen Lucio
I didn't think
personally.
Lucio was the move there, but given how much work that person did on Lucio, like the amount of
Yeah.
stall they were putting in and the amount of healing they were getting done with Lucio was what impressed me and made them a candidate in my eyes. But
But since we do have to give it to NA, I think it's either
Yep.
gonna be Big O or Budweiser for me personally. They were doing a great job keeping their tanks alive and
I think
not getting picked off.
I think this one has to go to Big O in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, we can agree there.
Okay.
With no
I don't have
fight.
to go on a long spiel if we just immediately agree.
No, I do agree with you. There were a couple times I noticed Budweiser getting picked off. You really can't help it there, but Big O was consistently picking up that slack when Budweiser would get picked off, and vice versa, but I think I consistently saw that most.
Right.
All right.
And Budweiser still did fantastic on their own. Again,
Yeah.
like I said in Blizzard World, I think their Baptiste is just pure gold. So,
Yep.
and I think that showed throughout the series. But I think Big O edged out just a little bit tonight.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So those are your MVPs
Mm-hmm.
for tonight. I do agree with you. Gyro did a great job on tank. But I really just wanted to give it to Valk there because I felt like that was the only thing that really synergized that team there and brought them back. So yeah, I think Pookie is going to be our tank MVP, our DPS is going to be legit, and our support is going to be Big O. Alright, thank you guys for watching. The score ended up being 4-0 to NA Ult Management. Thank you guys for tuning in to Tier 2, Week 13, NA Ult versus Valkyries. You guys have a great night. This is Timepiece signing off. And Revity, any closing thoughts?
None here.
All
Good night,
right.
everybody.
Night.